Well, welcome, Fernando, to my video here on a story of transformation. And I'm so grateful to have you with us today. Just to give the audience a little bit of information about you and how we've connected. You're originally from Spain and now living in Pisac, and you've been there for about 4 years, and which is where we met originally. And in terms of your work, you've traveled really around the world studying plants and different traditions. And, a lot of this has led to some pretty significant shifts in your life. So now, where my understanding, your focus is really about being a very engaged promoter of Kangen water systems, as well as you've just recently launched your own coaching program.
Yes.
So, yes, very, very exciting stuff indeed. So, so with that, I would love to, and by the way, too, you also go by Fer Pal. That's kind of your your catch nickname. Yes. So, just so everybody knows, if eventually we'll talk about how people can find you, but I wanted to say that. So just as a way of really getting into this, I'd love for you to share with everybody what your life was like. So I call this sort of shift an inner awakening, like a waking up of sorts, to whatever that might be. Or a shift in consciousness. And so what I would love for you to begin with is sharing with everyone what your life, give us a little bit of an idea of what your life was like before this shift or this inner awakening happened for you. Just so we know where you came from to where you are today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me to do this. I'm very excited, very, very glad, very happy to share to people so they can also know that if we can do it, if other people is doing it, they also can. That's the most important thing.
Absolutely.
So, I was born in Spain, in Madrid, in the capital, and I was born in a traditional family. I went to a public school. I studied initially physiotherapy, but then I had some problems with my father. I quit, and I started to study international trade. And I ended up working for a big company for almost 7 years. And they sent me to China, and I was having the typical suit tie life.
Yes.
With a lot of excess and good restaurants and alcohol and all these things that are involved. And yeah, after several years working there, I was just feeling like there must be something else in life. No, I don't want to be doing this anymore, because I'm going to become something I don't really want to be if I stay just because of the money. So I decided to quit and start to travel the world and start other projects that I had in mind. And that was my life before. No.
Yeah, what an incredible shift. I mean, our audience doesn't know yet what your life is like now, but once they do, it will be a really interesting thing to observe, that you gave up so much, right, of the material world, I guess you could say, to really just follow your passion and your truth. So maybe tell us a little bit about, like, what were some of the things that you felt about yourself in that world, when you were working in the corporate and not really feeling like you were living your passion? Like, what did that feel like for you?
Well, at the beginning, I was very, very enthusiastic. I really liked my job. When I started, it was very funny because I had this feeling of, wow, I'm helping people. I'm doing something for, I was working in international trade logistic company. So we were importing things from China or moving things from USA to Spain or Latin America. So I was having this feeling of, wow, I'm making something nice in the world, you know, like I'm moving things that people needs and people buys all around. And it was a very service oriented work. So I was very happy.
Mm-hmm.
And because I was good doing what I was doing, the company gave me the chance to go to China to live. And for me, I was 23 and it was a very important and very nice experience.
Mm-hmm.
So I went there. But once I went there, I started to be promoted in different levels. So the work was changing, and many things were related to just close business, have dinners and lunches with some important people and clients, and yeah, it was fun for a while, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because many people would say like, wow, that is a lovely life, you know, because you're well paid, you know, you can go to restaurants, you access things that most of the people can access. But at the end of the day, it was like you start to feel empty because you're not really in the situation I started, like really helping, like doing the real work.
Mm-hmm.
More in this part of the ego of, you know, like everything is appearance, everything is, you know, you need to go off, you know, a little bit about what's going on with you. And there was a moment like I was always surrounded by businessmen or businesswomen that they were not very sensitive with so many things that happen in the world. And of course, you know, in this world, there's a lot of things that most of the people don't like prostitution or, you know, all kind of things. And I say, I don't want to be part anymore of this. And I have better projects. And I think my life has more value than to just do that, no? And I quit. That's what it happened.
Yeah.
So it was funny for a long time, you know, and it was an incredible experience. I'm so thankful to my boss and all the people that made that possible. But everything has a time.
Right, of course. So where did you go from there?
From there, I was working with one of my cousins in a project to build an eco resort in Philippines. So from there, I moved to Philippines, trying to find a land, and well, traveling around the Philippines for that mission of building the eco resort. The problem in Philippines was, and it was very depressing situation at the end of the whole trip, because, well, I was young. I was still very young. I was still very young, but I was
right.
I was still younger. I was younger, and the most important thing that happened there is that I really opened doors of realities. I knew they existed, but I was living them. No, I was living the situations. I was living things that happened there in several countries, with sexual abuse of kids, with prostitution, with so many things that happen. So it was also like a continuation. You know, I wanted to get out of Shanghai and all this mood, but I got into another world that it was even harder to see. So then also the situation there, the legal situation in Philippines is not very easy for foreigners that want to invest. And considering we had like very limited budget, because we were, my cousin and me and my uncle, helping us. We were not like having $1 million, $2 million. It was like savings, no? It ended up like we give up the project, you know, and I had this feeling of failing, and I was totally depressed because of what I saw and the things that happen in that world, people that is really in need, and how the whole system is created to just keep them in that situation. Meanwhile, other people is making a lot of money, huge amount of money. And it was very heart touching, very depressive. And after 6 months there, trying to find a place, I decided to move back to Spain and come back to the initial path that I took into the healing path, no, like physiotherapy, massage. So I didn't go back to the university because in that moment I really didn't like university itself and what they teach there, because it's obviously is, that's my opinion, no? But I think universities attend to corporations and economical interest. So they don't tell you 100% what is going on. Just tell you what they want you to know. So I decided to follow another kind of how you say, training or
yeah.
And my mom, at some point during that time, in this time I was in Spain studying and starting my new life, she got cancer and a breast cancer, and she was very, very depressed in the moment that was diagnosed. And well, I told her, like, I can say my mom was my first patient.
Yes.
Yeah. So I told her, like, well, mom, the first thing to heal is knowing that you're sick. So now we know it. So I help her through a whole process for alternative healing. And nowadays she's very stable, very well.
Wonderful.
And after she was stable, I decided to come to Peru, because I was in this path of studying again alternative ways of healing. I learned about, I made a research about ayahuasca and other master plants. I decided to come to Peru to try them and to study more. So I have been here for 3.5 years now, almost 4 years.
Would you like to share a little bit about the medicine work and how that's also contributed to your transformation?
Oh, see, of course.
I mean, I know that's a big question because there's a lot to it, but maybe a few specific points that really stand out for you.
Well, it's very, for people that they never tried plants, it's very tricky question and it's very tricky answer. But I will try to be like as much open and honest I can. From my point of view, plants doesn't heal anything. Plants helps you to realize what's unbalanced or what's not going well in your life. So you use this information to make the change after the intake or the ceremony. You need to do the work in real life, not in the ceremony. In the ceremony, plants are just bringing you to expand your consciousness. And consciousness is not it's not a spiritual state, or it's just, as Alonso del Rio says in his book, it's just the ability of realizing about things. So when you ignore them, you can repeat the same mistake for all over again and again and again. But when you realize about that, when you make the mistake, you realize you're making a mistake. And if you keep doing it while you are realizing, you're harming yourself. So medicine plants are amazing for those people that they really feel that something is unbalanced, that they are not having they're not walking the path they want in life. And the plants are going to help that person to realize what is needed to be changed. Also how, you can get also some answers on how to do it, how to change, how to improve.
Well, I completely appreciate what you're saying, Fernando, about the medicine and how it's just really reveals to you something that is in your consciousness, but not in your awareness. And that the plant is really offering you a true gift of knowing, giving maybe a direction that you could take, or an awareness of behavior patterns that aren't serving you anymore, and then you have to take steps to really make change if that's what you want to do. So yeah, really
exactly.
Were there any really specific changes that you made as a result of working with the medicine?
I realized that also the medicines gives you exactly what you're looking for. So if you're honest with yourself and you really want to know what's wrong with me, why I'm not able to be happy, why I'm not able to handle my emotions, why I am so triggered by my couple, by my partner, why I'm so triggered by my boss, what's wrong with myself? then the plants helps you out a lot.
Mm.
And start to see that at the end of the day, everything that you are living, you're living inside. You're not living anything outside. The outside world is just something random that you cannot control. You can control some parts of your relationship with the outside world, but everything starts inside. So you start to, when you work with the medicines, you start to see how bad you can handle your emotions, how bad you can react to someone telling you something that might be hurting or disturbing you. And you slowly start to take responsibility on your life. You start to take responsibility on your emotions. You start to take responsibility of your thinking, your thoughts, and then is when you have the real transformation. When you understand that God gave you life and you are alive, and you're alive for the good. God or creation or universe doesn't want you to be suffering. They don't want you to be in pain all the time. This is something we decide. And some people can see that, and they probably say, yeah, but if you are poor, you say it because you don't seem poor, But if you are poor, what's going on? It's like, well, someone that is poor, what does it mean to be poor? What is the real meaning of being poor? Like, you mean that they don't have money, or they have a social situation, complex social situation? And I agree. Some people, the starting point is different and it's harder and it's gonna take longer, but everybody can do it. Everybody can say, no, I deserve a good life. It doesn't matter where I come from. It doesn't matter who was my father, my parent, my grandparents. I forgive them all for everything they did, everything they taught to me, all the limiting beliefs they installed in my mind. I'm done with that, and I want to go in another direction and have a full experience in life. So slowly you are reviewing what's wrong with you. You start to make the changes, and you start to see the effect. You start to see how your life is starting to change, how your reality start to change. You start to see the colors of the rainbow more often.
Right. So tell us then, at this point, Fernando, give us a picture of your life in PSAC.
Well, as you said, I'm Kangen water distributor. So when I knew Kangen water, it was when my mom was sick, and I decided to start the business here in PSAC, sharing the water with people. And basically, this is what I do. I share the water with people, and people test it. They know it works. So I'm helping to heal people that come here to PSAC to heal through the plants. And I also try to tell them, like, kind of integration, like, well, healing starts from food, from your body, from your things you put in your body. If your body is not in good condition, how is going to be prepared for more difficult tasks? So you need to take care of your body. And later, you need to take care of your emotions, your thinking. So basically, people come to my house, they pick up the water, I talk to them, I do like kind of free coaching. Because I just love it, I just love to do something good for people. And then the rest of the time, I really like to play music. That's one of my passion.
Yeah.
So we meet.
I saw you on your video recently, by the way, singing amongst some friends, and I was so pleased because I know you feel a little self-conscious. So that was nice. Yeah.
This is one of the things, like since I'm very young, music or arts in my family were not like an option. So there is a very strong paradigm that says I'm not able, or I'm not prepared to sing in public, or even make money with music. Who knows? But I'm slowly removing that paradigm, because thanks God, there is a lot of beautiful people telling me, like, I really like your music. You have to sing stronger. You have to open more. So slowly it's happening.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And then other things I do, of course, I do online coaching with people that contact me through Instagram or Facebook, or just friends of friends, or people that is reaching me. And yeah, basically that. It's very simple life. I like to go to mountain to walk. We live here in the valley. That is an awesome place to go hiking or go into the nature spaces and feel the vibration of the nature, what is essential. I also was holding last year for 1.5 years, something like that. Like we were doing a weekly fire ceremony. We now stop a little bit because we were a little bit tired, but we're going to restart probably soon. And we gathered there around a fire. What is the first television that we humans created? It's a very beautiful environment because it's exactly what we try to do is bring people into the ancestral life. You know? How our ancestors, they were sitting around a fire, sharing food, sharing tea, water, music, you know, and they were solving the problems, you know, the social problems were being solved in the fire, you know, next to the fire, because people could walk. And today world, the Western world, keeps people completely distracted of that. That's why there are so many problems in communications, so many problems in solving problems itself. And we try to bring people to that space of relief and open and talk and communication and music and sharing, no? And it's a great event. Is many people pass through there.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting in hearing you share your story. It's really so challenging for me to imagine you in a corporate world with a suit and tie and, you know, living this life, this materialistic life. It seems so foreign to me to picture it that way. But because I know you and and hearing also what you're sharing now. And so like, and I can see the joy in your face. Like I can see the happiness, the joy, like the love. So that's what I see, but I'd love for you to just share, like, how do you feel like being there and being in this world now that you're in, very different than before? Like, what does that feel like?
Coming back to the previous life, no, like somehow society has created rules, you know, from human rules, human laws, constitutions, and things, no, to social rules, cultural rules, and depending on where you're born, you are affected by them, no. So, in my case, obviously, there was a pressure to let's say be someone, no, like you have to be someone in your society. You have to have a good job, you have to be able to hold a family, you have to be, and everything of that is somehow related to a wrong concept about money, no, like we need money for being something, no. And for all those years I was having money, but as much money I was having, I was feeling more empty because I was more far, no, of being myself. So when I quit, I was terribly scared, no, because I was having a good job. The company was having plans for me for the rest of my life, no, and I could be in a very safe and comfort area, but today I can say like it's the best decision I took. The best decision I took in my life. Like trust myself. No, trust I could live the life I really wanted to live. And of course it's been like years because that happened in 2011. We're in 2018, so it's almost 7 years. And it's been a long process, and you find moments of it's really hard because you're going in completely opposite direction than the society, but you are listening yourself. You are trusting yourself. And when you trust yourself and you listen to yourself from your heart, really, because you want to do things because of love, not because it's justice or it's good or it's bad. No, it's because of love. You are starting to vibrate in a frequency of the universe. And the doors starts to open themselves, no? It starts to open because you are vibrating, no? And also that path, when you put your feet in the path, you're gonna find people they are also in the same path.
So
So
you
you
find your tribe.
exactly, you
Yeah.
realize you are not alone, that there is a lot of people in the world, a lot of people in the world making a difference,
Mm-hmm.
walking their own paths, listening to their hearts, and you see, wow, there is a hope because I'm not alone.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of people doing change and trying to be more connected to nature, be more ecological,
Mm-hmm.
like going in another direction, taking another decisions for consumption, as a
Mm-hmm.
consumer. And it's when you say, okay, I'm going to stop suffering about what's going on in the world because I discover a new reality right now, that there is a lot of people making changes. So even though still most of the people is in that fear,
Mm-hmm.
that comfort zone, there is a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people that we already are in the other side. So
Mm-hmm.
we call all everybody, like just go for your dream, like if you feel fear, is a good signal
Mm-hmm.
because something great is behind of the fear. No,
Mm-hmm.
it
Something
was,
really amazing is on its way.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So fear is a good signal, is a guide. No, so just
Mm-hmm.
follow the fear. Fear is an amazing teacher,
Mm-hmm.
and it can
Absolutely.
take you very far.
Yes.
And I still sometimes I'm afraid, like
Mm.
because I'm independent, so my income is very variable,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's more stable. But at the beginning it was what happened if the money doesn't come in? What I'm gonna do? How am I gonna pay my rent? How am I gonna pay my invoice? How am I gonna pay? And the fears appear, but because you are willing, you really want to pay the people that is offering you the house or the service or the internet or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Your willingness, your the fact that you are a responsible person,
Mm-hmm.
it's creating a vibration, so everything is gonna be fine. You're gonna
Yes.
have the money to pay your bank, your invoices, your rent, everything is gonna happen. The only thing you have to do is how I'm going to be at service.
Mm.
Because many people ask me like, and how I find my passion, how I find the way I want to be at service. Because at
Mm-hmm.
the end, when you pass all through, you start to take care of your physical body, you start to be responsible with your emotions, with your thoughts, you understand that the real fulfillment in life is how I can be in service,
Mm.
real service to the people, to the community, and there are plenty of things to do for being at service.
Mm-hmm.
Many people is like, oh, should I work in an NGO? Or no, there are many, you can work in a normal company. You can, there are several things to do, no?
Mm.
But if you really want to go far in your personal development, at the end, what is gonna take you to the next level is being independent.
Mm.
And for being independent and at service, you need to find your passion.
Mm.
What is the thing that you really love that you wouldn't mind to do it for free,
Mm. How
all the
did you,
time?
yeah, how did you find that for yourself?
Well, I read that book, The Element, no?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So from
Yeah.
me, it was clear because since I was a kid, I really like biology, chemistry, physics. I was very, very connected to the universe. I was trying to understand how life was working, and and everything that I experienced in life took me to the point of, yeah, what I want to do is that I want to
Mm.
help people to reconnect to nature, to be more healthy,
Mm-hmm.
and to be able to construct the lives they want to live.
Mm.
So I'm doing that now.
Mm-hmm.
you know.
And thankfully, it's a gift for all of us that you're on this path. For
Thank you.
sure. Yeah. So tell us, Fernando, what have been some of the things on this path that have been the most challenging and also the most rewarding? And I mean, I think we've kind of covered some of that already, but maybe just to summarize for the viewers, what you would say, maybe the kind of the top couple of things.
Well, when you start to do that, for me, the hardest thing is like the people that you really love the most,
Mm-hmm.
people that it's going to try to stop you.
Mm.
Don't go in that direction.
Right.
They're They are gonna project all their fears because they want the best for you. You know, they want the best for you. They love you. They want the best. They want the best for you, but they ignore that is possible. So they project their fears of something is gonna happen to you. You're not gonna be able to make it. You're gonna fail. And, you know, so they try to project all of those fears to you, and understanding that it's not your fear and it's just their limitation and their limiting beliefs is difficult. That's the most difficult part. You feel very scared when you start to walk this path because there are so many people telling you you're crazy. That no one can do that. That it's impossible to live this life. That it's impossible to go this way. That you need a normal job, you know, like a 9 to 6 job. And that's the most difficult part, because for a time you're gonna be alone, you know, and slowly you're gonna find people that's gonna support you. It's gonna remind you who you are and why you're going in that direction, you know. People that you're gonna find in that path that they already have walked, no, the path, things you're passing through. So you start to create new relationships. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's the most the most amazing thing is that, you know, is the people you start to find out there. You know, people you didn't know that became your family, you know. Start to become your family, they start to become your friends, people that is supporting you, that they communicate things to you in a much nicer way than even your family, you know. Encourage you to be, to go ahead, no, go ahead with your dreams because you deserve to live your dreams. Why then we have the power to dream if we are not able to make them true, you know?
Of course, yeah. And it's so wonderful that you're able to find people that did offer that support and guidance. And
exactly.
Yes.
Well, everybody can find, you know, it's like really everything starts from yourself, in you, no? So if you experience fear, it's you. If you experience guilt, it's you. If you experience ira, it's you, no? You are the origin of that emotion, and you start to be responsible. And okay, I feel fear. I go through fear, whatever happens. No, you are gonna end up in an amazing place. Like, wow.
Yes, usually better than anything you could have expected, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
So, who have been some of the people, Fernando, would you say, are the influences in your life that have offered the most inspiration, the most valuable support on the path?
Well, in different people at different levels. For example, intellectually, I'm so glad to have found Alonso del Rio. Is the person, the master that I started to take medicine with. And I decided to take with him the first time because when I started to do my research, I was seeing that he was doing some projects, some besides projects, you know, of the ceremonies. And he has a school for kids. He has a project in the jungle to protect the jungle and grow all plants there. And in the last 3.5 years, I've been close to him, studying his intellectual job. The 2 books he wrote, helping him in the way I could with his projects, you know. And I'm so thankful because when I found him, I was really needing that, you know, like a system or a study, an intellectual, an intellectual background on all of these use of medicines. And what he saying is just nature gives everything, you know. If you observe and you open your eyes, you're gonna find all the answers in the nature. You don't need to create nothing new. It's there. Just read it, no? Like clean your mind of all the beliefs you have, all the patterns, to see the reality as it really is. Then my mom. My mom was always, even though she was not very like expressing it, I could feel like she was really happy about my decision, and she
Mm-hmm.
was believing in me and in what I was doing. And
Mm-hmm.
nowadays, I'm sure she's very proud. My father is saying, but it took him more time to accept.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
But, but right now he can see yeah, if you go ahead with your dreams, and it doesn't matter if nobody believes in you,
Mm-hmm.
you can get where you want to get.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have a very amazing uncle, my uncle Jacinto. He is the person that has been teaching me more about love in my whole life,
Mm-hmm.
and is a very important person to me. Very, very important. Like,
Mm-hmm.
always supportive, always telling me like, go ahead, you know,
Mm-hmm.
brilliant. You can go, you can do it. You have a full potential, and it's because you have a good intention. You know, you have a good,
Mm-hmm.
really want to do things well. So you're gonna be supported.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, I found like so many amazing people in the world. You know? When I
Mm-hmm.
was in China, I had amazing friends. My friend Sergio is incredible person to me. He's my brother. And Philippines, I met also amazing people. Here in Peru, in Pisac, like we knew amazing people every week.
Yes, I know.
Amazing musicians, amazing artists,
Mm-hmm.
amazing people. Yes, making a difference. No, like
Mm-hmm.
trying to bring people back to what is really important in life.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so grateful that you're surrounded by that. Yeah.
Yes, I'm so happy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I also find people sometimes that they want to hurt you, or they insult you, or they say things that are not real about you.
Mm-hmm.
For a long time I was suffering a lot, because I was wondering like, what's wrong? Because
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to do my best. I don't hurt anyone. I try not to hurt anyone, probably do something, but
Mm-hmm.
and there was a moment I understood that when you know your own story well, when you're super sure about what you're doing, why you're doing, and which direction are you going, it doesn't matter what the people is saying about you.
No, right.
You don't react anymore. You don't become hurt anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You just really find the compassion of, wow, they just are talking because they are in pain,
Mm-hmm.
they're suffering, they're scared, and at the end you find compassion because you are not there.
Mm-hmm.
And you just try to send them good vibes, of love and compassion, so they can get out of this and go in the other direction, the
Mm-hmm.
direction of joy, of
Yes.
being thankful, of sharing,
Mm.
of telling beautiful things to people that is doing beautiful things, instead of
Yes.
pointing what is wrong or is
Mm-hmm.
bad.
Mm. Yeah, that's so beautiful, Fernando, and very wise. Yeah.
Thank you, Bonnie.
Mm. So
Yeah.
clearly, you've done a lot of personal introspection
Mhm.
and work, for lack of a better word. What are some of the key practices that you do in life? Practices, or
Mhm.
I'm not sure what else to call it, ceremonies, practices, things that really support you on this path of compassion and recognition and
Mhm.
insight. Yeah.
Well, the most difficult thing for people to understand is what's a paradigm or a pattern, mental pattern.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
this is just habits. Paradigms and patterns are habits.
Mm-hmm.
Why people eat, I don't know, like white bread, toasting bread with butter in the morning, because it's a habit. Probably
Mm-hmm.
what you've been doing for years, your parents, your grandparents, everybody did. But it doesn't mean it's correct or it's good.
Mm-hmm.
So when you realize, when you are in those spaces, in ceremonies, or through meditation, yoga, whatever is helping you to expand your consciousness, you need to install the new paradigm. And for installing the new paradigm, you need to stop the old one immediately and establish a new one.
Mm. How do you recognize that what paradigm you're in? Like
Uh,
like a lot of it, I presume, has come through maybe medicine work that you've done, or are there
yeah.
are there other things that have really helped you to even have an awareness of that? Because that's a big part of it, no? Like if a habit is, you're just unconscious to it a lot of times, right? So how do you become conscious? How have you become conscious of these patterns?
Well, it's very interesting because Kangen business is, the water is great, it's amazing, it helps a lot of people, it's really making a difference. And in the next 10, 20 years, it's going to be like world global known, and everybody's going to want to have a machine in this house, in their house. But the most amazing thing with Kangen is also the information we receive, the training, because we are just studying that, like what are your limiting beliefs? Because if someone else is having financial freedom, for example, something that we all seek, the financial freedom, and it's needed for your evolution of consciousness, because as we said before, materia is sacred, and money is a direct relationship with materia, so when you get how people is getting their financial freedom is because they are removing limiting beliefs. One of the limiting beliefs we all have, we can do that. I cannot be millionaire. Why not? You really want it? Why not? There is other people doing it. So if there is other people doing it, you can also do it. Later we will see if it's difficult, it's not difficult, if it's hard, where you start, of course, there are some people that they have it more easier than others, but at the end you can do it, So what I really suggest to people, and what I did, is really wondering that everything that I've been told since the school, from my parents, my grandparents, everything, it doesn't need to be true. And when you wonder, you are looking for an answer, and then it's very difficult to find a right answer, because what is true, what is not true, and we go back to the same thing one and again and again and again. That is just observe nature. How is life developed in the planet? Thanks to the earth, thanks to the water, thanks to the sun, thanks to the air. So all of these elements has a relationship with our inner world, So, for example, I can smoke a tobacco today, and I can tell myself, it doesn't, just because of one, nothing happened, but you're lying to yourself, because only one tobacco, one cigarette, is going to create an effect on your body. Smoke it if you want, but don't lie to yourself. So I think the most important thing is finding what's true and what's a lie. And for that, for having a good reference, just observe nature. If you're going to do something and it's damaging your body, it's damaging your nature, or it's damaging nature outside, it's a tricky point. Right? You can do it if you want, but don't lie to yourself. The lie is more harmful, I think, than the fact of what you're going to do.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. So when you start to check out yourself all the time, you start to find your paradigms. You start to find your limiting beliefs. And then it's when you identify the paradigm, when you identify the bad habit you have, is when you can say, okay, I found it. So now I'm going to stop it. And when you stop it, you create the space for a new paradigm. And for example, before I discovered Kangen water, I was not drinking water in the morning. Now, the first thing I do is turn on my machine and I drink water and I give thanks. I give thanks for having a new day. The sun is shining again. Water, I feel it immediately because it's an electrical charge. All my body starts to feel it. And I start the day. The people is like the first thing for taking care is your body. Because your body is your tool, is the tool that God gave you for experience life in this 4-dimensional reality. 3 dimensions of space, 1 dimension of time. So if you don't take care of your body, how are you going to be able to dream, to be stable emotionally, to have positive thinking, first you need to be feeling well with your body. Once your body feels well, we can check all the things, no? And that takes time. It depends on where you are, where you're starting, and how much effort you want to invest in yourself, no? So if you are really committed, you are a disciplined person, you change your diet, you start to drink a lot of water, you start to make exercise, in months you can have an amazing body. You know, you can feel your body like, now I'm strong, I can go farther, I can go more far.
Yes.
And that's what we try to do in the coaching, no? How I felt it, you know, I started with my body. I was totally skeptical about nutrition when I started, no? And I remember I met a woman in Philippines from California. She was vegan. And she told me, no, like, just check it out, try it. So when I came back to Spain, I say, I remember Charlene, and I said, yeah, I'm gonna start. And I quit. The first thing I did, I quit milk. I quit dairy. And I always was having like very heavy digestion. I was noting my belly like inflamed all the time. When I removed dairy, I started to have like a much better digestion. Going more regularly to the toilet, you know, and I was empty, you know, things from inside. Later, I started to reduce the amount of meat. I was feeling much better. Later, I quit meat. I was feeling much better. Later, I quit fish. I was feeling much better. Later, I put Kangen. I was feeling amazing. Kangen make like a bank. Really, it was like an explosion of energy. And nowadays, I'm flexible. I'm not vegan. I'm not vegetarian. I'm not anything. I'm myself. I try to be responsible with the food I eat. You know, and I don't lie to myself. So I feel great.
Yeah, you can tell you have a lot of energy and you look very healthy. So it's definitely working for you, for sure. Yeah. Well, I noticed that our time is running out. So at this point, I would love to hear any final guru guidance you have for the people watching the video. And then once we hear about that, Fernando, let us know how people can connect with you.
Okay. Well, about the guru, I don't like too much that. So, well, you are your own guru.
Yes. Right.
No? And we all have this information of divine information of the universe inside of us. We don't need to follow anyone. We don't need to do anything that anybody tell us to do. Nothing. That is completely incorrect. So what I really suggest to people is find your truth and find your lie. You know? And if you find your truth, you're going to find your lie. If you find your lie, you're going to find your truth. You know, they're together. They're opposite and complementary. And the best way to know if something is true or is a lie is observing nature. You know, if you go against your nature, your body, your emotions, your thoughts, you are telling yourself a lie. If you go against nature outside, you know, the plants, the animals, the ecology, the sea, the ocean, you're telling yourself a lie. At the end, those laws are given. We don't decide. We just are born in this planet. And those laws, we belong to that laws. The first law we belong to is nature. So is really the guide.
Yes, the primary.
If you follow the nature, you're going to find your answers and you're going to find your path and you're going to go through your life as you want.
Beautiful.
And then the way to welcome. The way to contact me, I think I'm just developing now my Instagram account. What is very, you know, in the world is getting like very popular more than Facebook. But anyway, in Facebook or Instagram, I'm the same. It's Fer Pal Coach. You can find me like that. And also they can find me in a link called meetme.so bar Fer Pal.
And that's for them to connect with you through like this type of conferencing? like a
Yeah,
video conferencing or a telephone call or something like that?
exactly. The best way they want.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And share with everybody, what are some of the key services that you're offering
Apart
as
from the
part of
work,
your as part of your coaching business?
well, it's basic on those four elements philosophy, no? Like
Mm-hmm.
earth, water, fire, and air are the elements that are making life possible in the planet. And in our inner world, earth is our body, water is our emotions, no, our sexuality.
Mm-hmm.
Fire is our thinking, is our ability of transformation of things, and the thought is the initial point of the creation.
Mm-hmm.
Then air is the altar of love, so it's where we go. No, is the end, the final destination. You know, when you work in just first three elements, you know, earth, water, and fire, you're gonna feel more fulfilled. You're gonna feel, everything goes well. You know,
Mm-hmm.
because you start to see the results. So it's based
Mm-hmm.
on that, no? And
Okay.
it comes from the traditional American wisdom, and that's what Alonso del Rio has been studying for years. And I could study with him, and I'm just basically helping people to understand the code.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point in a moment, they're not going to need me anymore, you know. And that's
Mm-hmm.
also part of the thing. Like, it's
Mm.
not that you're gonna need me forever. It's that
Right.
you're gonna need me up to you understand the code, you understand how to find your life, and you find your truth, how you find your passion, and then you can fly alone.
Mm.
You need to follow me. I want you to be yourself, your own guru.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Nice. Do you have a specific target audience, or are you really
Well,
available for anyone who feels connected and
any
inspired by
person,
what you're offering?
any person, really. Well, I am also very interested in intellectual people like psychologists, anthropologists, uh, people is related to human field, no?
Mm-hmm.
Because we can have a better impact, no? If we can transmit this knowledge that is based on nature and is not any belief on that, it's just observing what's going on, and then
Mm-hmm.
we can have a better impact, and we can create a faster development
Mm-hmm.
of this new trending of people that we want to change. We want to live more in contact with nature. We want to be more socially responsible. We want all the people to have the life we have, you know?
Mm-hmm. Great. Well, thank you so very much for your time. I really appreciate all of your wisdom and everything you've shared. And you have such an amazing story of transformation. I'm so grateful to share it with everyone. And so thank you.
Welcome, Bonnie. My
Yeah,
pleasure.
yeah, wonderful.